Hello and welcome to the second episode of Hashtag Gossip in the Greenhouse. My name's Sarah Holdcroft from Goldcrest Books, and I'm going to be talking to you this week about what's been happening over the last week and also introducing you to another Goldcrest Books publication. And it is such a change from last week, I must say. It is. I just looked at the thermometer, it is 8 degrees in here at the moment, and last week it was beautifully sunny and I had my hat on to keep the sun out of my eyes, so quite a change. And there's also been quite a change in the greenhouse too. So as these videos are for those of you who perhaps don't have an outside space or a greenhouse, I'm just going to talk you through the occupants again each week. So we've actually seen quite a difference with the sprouts here that I'm growing. I've potted them out now. They're in much bigger pots and they will eventually go into the vegetable garden outside. But for the moment they're still in here. I've also repotted the peppers here, 1, 2, 3, and they're going great guns actually. They're nice big pots. They'll be staying in here for the duration. I think if you watched the last video, you'll remember I was having difficulty with my runner beans. I'm still having difficulty with my runner beans. Enough said. The loofahs are great. Look how this one's grown since last time. It's now got these little tendrils coming out and it's beginning to tie itself around the pole there, so that's great. That little leaf's dying off, but I think that'll be alright. But they're doing great. And also, since last week, we've also had a bit of activity in the beetroot pot. We've actually now got some beetroot. We've also got some other little foreign bodies growing in there, which I shall just have to pick out. But you can see the beetroot growing. Obviously they can't stay in this, but when it's a bit warmer, I'm going to put them outside into the vegetable plot. So they're doing all right. The tomatoes, I've also repotted the tomatoes, and look how they've grown. They're amazing. And I'm also I'll put this up a bit higher so you can see, in here, in these little leaves here, I'm just pulling out these little bits here that grow, because apparently it makes them grow better and it's easier to pick the tomatoes, but they're beginning to go up the poles and looking good. And the other major difference, I think, is probably the lettuce, which, let me just tip this forward for you. You might be able to just take it over here in case you can't see. The lettuce is really beginning to come up now. I don't think that was really doing anything last week at all, but the radish next to it still hasn't shown any signs. But maybe by next week. Put that back in there. There we go. And last but not least are my sunflowers. I've also potted those. They'll stay in these big pots. They grow pretty tall. I normally get sort of, I don't know, 6 or 7 feet out of them. So they will remain in these pots, but when they are a bit bigger and the weather's a bit nicer, then they go outside and sit up against my fence so they get sun all day. And it's lovely to watch the heads during the day as they move round, as the sun moves around in the sky. So that'll be fun. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take the camera outside so that you can see those later in the year. So that's really what's been going on in the greenhouse. Now, the other thing I wanted to do, obviously with this video, is introduce a book to you. And I thought I would choose one that would be nice for kids this week. So I've actually got, I don't know whether if you remember when you were kids, those wonderful little Beatrix Potter stories and books. Well, this is kind of a bit like that. It's Naughty Nugget, and it's by Susie King, and it's got some gorgeous little illustrations in there as well throughout the book. Let's just turn a couple of pages for you. There you go. and it's a delightful little story for children. And the wonderful thing about this is that Naughty Nugget is actually a real dog. He's an Irish Terrier, and he lives on a farm in Shropshire in the UK, in the middle of nowhere. And so I thought I would just catch up with Susie King and ask her what's been going on with Naughty Nugget and all the other animals, because all the animals in here are actually real animals and belong to Susie. So if you go along to her Facebook at Susie King, that's S-U-S-I-E King, you can see one of the other animals, this wonderful pig who comes into the house sometimes. So that's that. So I thought I would just find out what had been happening with Naughty Nugget. And they're all right down on the farm, they're all doing their own thing, but it is quite interesting on a Thursday evening at 8 o'clock when we have the NHS clap. Because apparently, although they're in the middle of nowhere, they can stand outside in the fields and they can hear in the distance people clapping and banging pans and car horns hooting and all that sort of thing. And all the dogs, because she has more than just Naughty Nugget, there's a couple of Ridgebacks that live with her as well. And they all start barking and yowling, and the horses go galloping around the fields. So it all gets terribly exciting during the NHS clap. So that's kind of what's been going on with the real Naughty Nugget. If you'd like to buy one of these delightful little books, you can get them directly from the author, and I'll put the details below this video, and it will also come up along the bottom of the video in a minute with the email address, and you can go to her Facebook page and order it through there. It is delightful. So I thought that's what I'd bring you this week. And Naughty Nugget also sent a message to everybody to stay safe, which obviously is something we've still got to be doing during these very strange times. So that's the book this week, and next week we'll have another look to see how everything has grown. And I shall also be bringing you a little bit of gossip about a very well-known British novelist. So I hope to see you again next Wednesday. Bye for now.